friends, your favorite besties are back for another episode of No Ma'am. I'm Will, and I'm joined by my podcast co-host and Chaos.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single episode of No Mail.
Friends, today we are spilling the tea in the only way we know how to. It is episode 2 of Hot Takes and Headlines. So today we're going through all the drama that happened last week. We're talking all things Ginger Minj winning RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10, and the girls are saying Rigga Morris is Rigga Morris, girl. It's rigged. Roxy has something to say and she wants to make it clear. And Jiria said, so you just gonna leave me out of the recap on the pit stop? Heard you, sis. And Anita Bump is still up to her shenanigans. And Blossom tells her story. Also, Andrew Cuomo says he is leaving New York City if Zohran wins. And we say, bye, girl. All right. So, welcome to Hot Takes and Headlines. But before we get to all of that mess, make sure you subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/NoMa'am the podcast. It's only $5 and you'll help support the channel. Okay, so let's get into the rigortree of it all, is what the streets are saying about Ginger Minj winning RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 10. So, the streets, and by the streets, I mean the whole entire gay Twitter, is saying that the season was rigged for Ginger, which to me, in my opinion, essentially invalidates her win. But what are your thoughts?
I have a huge problem with when people say that. Because like you said, I think it invalidates what the queen has done. And at the end of the day, she just went on and she competed. If you want to claim that somebody's rigging something or whatever, you don't need to send the hate to the girl. Send it to the producers if you really must send the hate anywhere, which at the end of the day, it's not going to change anything. They're still going to do what they want to do. RuPaul's still going to choose who she wants to win, whether you like it or not, because at the end of the day, it's her show. It's not your show, girl. And you're going to watch it regardless. As many times as you say, I'm not going to watch it anymore, screw Drag Race is over, or blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, you still watch it. So just get over it. Because at the end of the day, it's a TV show. And again, it's RuPaul's TV show. So she's going to do whatever the hell she want to do. I think the biggest reason, or my personal take on it, I don't think this was Ginger's best showcasing, which is why it kind of feels like it was rigged for her. Because I think we've seen her perform better in season 7, in All-Star Stakes, and in those moments, people really did feel like, oh, she could take it. And this one, it just felt like it wasn't her best showcasing or her best performances. And I think that's kind of why people felt so strongly about her not deserving that win, because for some other queens like Irene, like Wasco, we got to see them in a better light than we did in their previous seasons. Did they necessarily perform better than Ginger? That's debatable. But because we got a better showcasing of them as compared to the previous seasons, which was the opposite of Ginger, I think that's why people have such a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. My point, where I look at it from a season like holistically, this technically is Ginger's 4th time competing on Drag Race. Did we expect Ginger, right, like, to not win? My thing is, she's coming back 4 times. Not to say that producers are pushing Ginger because Ginger, whatever, right? You can go down a rabbit hole in the conspiracy theories if you want to that said production pushed Ginger. Listen, bracket 1 was great. Bracket 2 was great. Bracket 3 just felt different because the other 2 brackets had drama, had fighting, right? Bracket 3 just felt like kumbaya sessions. I think a lot of the challenge is she's been on the show 4 times. So of course she's going to be able to master Snatch Game, improv, talent show, whatever. It's going to come easy to her because she already knows who she is, right? So we have that. On the other hand, I don't see the season being pushed for her. I didn't see it as much as the other people did. I'm sorry, I'm not one of those gays who felt that way, because I thought at any given time how the season was edited, except for the finale episode, it could have went to multiple queens because multiple queens was getting storylines. Bracket 1, we got storylines from Irene. Bracket 1, we got storylines for Bosco. Bracket 1, we got storylines for Aja, right? Bracket 2, we only got a storyline for Lydia. We didn't get the storyline for Mistress and Georges. And I said this when we did our recap of the finale episode, so make sure you guys go watch that. I do believe the reason why it felt like they pushed Ginger and not pushed Georges is because we didn't get a storyline for Georges until after Mistress got eliminated.
And at that point, it's like,
once Mistress got eliminated, right?
Yeah.
It was too late, right? But once Mistress got eliminated, then we got the storyline of George's wanting this for representation, wanting this so bad, been working at it. That's when we got the human side of George's. But before that, we got Mistress in the
Mhm.
MVQ points.
Yeah, and I mean, I would have loved for Georges to win for representation. We haven't had a Latina winner since, or like a proud Latina winner since season 6. So I think it's time. I feel like Latina queens tend to be kind of undervalued, honestly, on Drag Race, and maybe that's just me being biased. Um, but you're right in the sense that like that wasn't her storyline. Like we didn't get that until the end, and at that point, I think it was too little, too late to push that for her. Like yes, the fans had seen that or
Correct.
wanted her to be that representation, but I think that should have been done throughout the entire season rather than just like the last episode.
Correct. Because we didn't get to see that in bracket 2, right? We only saw that Georges was latching on to Mistress. Now, in reality, it could have been different. Georges could have been dominating those challenges, and we didn't see that. And they only decided to put in the like Mistress and is like Georges together scheming on Kerry Kobe. We don't know, right? But like all we see is the final edit of
Mhm.
of the season. That's it. That's only what we can judge on and what we can go about. Also, I just think that as a community, we just need to be excited that we have shows on TV that are queer representation because we don't know how long this is going to last. So yes, we're on this platform. Yeah, we're throwing a little shade, we're having a little fun, but we don't know how long these platforms are going to exist because of this current administration. And I think we spend so much time and energy debating why a queen won and why a queen doesn't deserve it. Who's to say why a queen doesn't deserve something? Who gave us the right to say she doesn't deserve the win? Why? Like, why does she not deserve it? Because your fave didn't win, so Ginger doesn't deserve to win? Like the math is not mathing for me, and so I can never be one of those people who say, "Well, yeah, she should never deserve to win because yeah, this is rigged."
No. And again, if you really do feel that way, don't send the hate to the queen because at the end of the day, she's not the one who decided to edit the season that way or to have, or if you really think they decided to favor her, it wasn't like it was her choice. She just signed out to do the show because
Correct.
she wanted to. She made a little bucket. She knows she's good at it. Like, you can't blame her for that. You can't fault her for that.
Same. It was just like season 17. Oh, well, the show is rigged for Anya because Jules Sparkles didn't win. Granted, Jules did better in the final lip sync than Anya did. But if you look at the whole entire season as a whole, Anya did better
Hmm.
than Jules Sparkles. Now, did we want Jules to win because we were fans of Jules and it would be really great for representation? Yes, but we can't invalidate Anya's win because Jules didn't win, or and because Anya didn't do any reveals in the final lip sync. Same thing that happened in All Stars 9. We don't want to give Angeria her credit because Roxy didn't win. But like that doesn't mean that Angeria did worse than Roxy because the whole season was Angeria
Yeah,
versus Roxy. They kept blocking each other.
literally. Like it was just between them. Just because your favorite queen didn't win does not mean the other queen did not deserve to win.
Yeah, right. And we could take it back to season 16, Nymphia versus Safira Cristal. Oh, well, the show is rigged. Why? Because Safira did better in the overall season and Nymphia did
Mm.
better in the final lip sync. At the end of the day, both queens were very deserving of the win. So neither one of them was robbed of anything. But what we need to realize is when we say that this queen is robbed, we don't understand the toll that takes on the queen who
Yeah.
won.
And then that's how we end up with situations like Tyra, where, from the moment she won, people were like, no, Raven was robbed. That's Raven's crown. Raven's a true winner, blah, blah, blah. And we see that with her, we see the toll that those kind of messages takes on a person. And we don't need a repeat of that.
We don't. Now, just to pivot a little bit, so our viewing party, Roxy Andrews had a lot to say. So she said that she didn't like the way production has been treating like the Latina queens on this last, I guess, skew of All Stars and just the
Mhm.
regular seasons of Drag Race, right? So if you think of it in context, we have Georges being the runner-up to Ginger Minj, not winning All Stars 10. We had Roxy being the runner-up to Angeria, not winning All Stars 9. We have Jules Sparkles being the runner-up to Anya, not winning season 17, right? And she's like, why haven't we had a Latina winner since Bianca and Violet Chachki, who, granted, and fully has come out and said yes, they're like Latin, right? Bianca, hello. Violet, on the other hand, has said that she's Ecuadorian. I don't know, don't quote me, but I think she said that she was. But she doesn't like connect with that side. So she doesn't identify with that side. So we wouldn't know that. And then the streets are also saying that Ginger Minj is Puerto Rican. I don't know if that's true or
Yeah, I saw
not.
that. But that's why I kind of specifically said like a proud Latina winner because Bianca's the only one of the three that like really speaks about it and kind of incorporates it into her drag to some extent. Like, she makes fun about it. She speaks about it in her sets. But I mean, I think I've said this before on one of our episodes. I do think like Latina queens tend to be overlooked, even when they're performing great sometimes. We need someone, especially, and maybe this is me being biased because of my background and where I come from and what I want to see represented on my TV. I think we need like a very like proud, like unapologetically Latina queen to win. Like somebody who's really all about like the culture and wherever whether it's from Mexico, Puerto Rico, or Brazil, or like pretty much any country. I don't know. I just kind of want to see that because we really have only had one, at least from the US.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I've realized, and I think this is the problem with Drag Race as a whole, right? I love Drag Race. I love watching it. It's literally one of our favorite shows. We have the opportunity to get on here every week and talk about the show, right? And critique it and have a platform that does that, one part of our platform. I think the problem with Drag Race in particular is that at first it was meant to represent drag and put drag on a large scale. And then we had Bibi Sahara Benet, then we had Tyra Sanchez, and then we had Raja. Right? We had three queens of color win
Mhm.
back to back. The amount of hate that was sent to those queens because of who they represent is not only disgusting, but it's very disappointing that because of that, we have a series of non people of color win to appease a certain subgroup of our community. And I think it goes back to talk about what our vision of being accepted or what our vision of perfection or success is. And oftentimes it doesn't look
Mhm.
like you and I. And I think that's the problem, right? Like, we need to realize that in order for a person of color to win Drag Race, they need to be exceptional. That is the standard. It is easy for our white counterparts to be
Mhm.
mediocre, but yet we need to be
Mhm.
exceptional.
Yeah, which is crazy because I mean I think that reflects a lot of kind of what we have even experienced in our own personal lives of like we have to work twice as hard than maybe like you said our white counterparts to get the same level of success that they do. We have to prove ourselves even harder. Like I know that was the case when I was like growing up, going to school. I was always one of the very few people of color surrounded by a majority of white people in my classes in my schools and it always made me feel very uncomfortable because I'm like, "Ooh, I'm not good enough to be here or I have to work even harder for them to like give me the same feedback that they're giving them or always just kind of felt like they had a leg up on me because they had even better resources than I had access to. So it's something that we like, it's people of color we're used to seeing. And I think it sucks that we have to kind of see it on Drag Race too.
Correct. And I think that is the problem. No shade, and this is not being me conceited or me having a big ego, but I think what we do, you and I together on No Ma'am, is
Mhm.
exceptional. I think it's like high level. We give really like educated critiques. We recap these shows. We spend all this time and energy when we have queens on to be very intentional and talk about like impactful things. Yet we get zero amount of publicity, fame, viralness. Then if we were two white twinks, we would probably have thousands and thousands of followers. And I think it's bad that we have to say we need a Latina winner. We need a black queen to win, right? It should be like we should have the best
Mhm.
person. But the reason why we have to say that we need a black queen to win or we need a Latina queen to win is because they don't
Yeah.
win. So it becomes
And
about race. And I know there's going to be some racist comments in our comment box talking about, well, that's the problem. It should be about the merit because that is what this new administration is all about. But they fail to realize that it's about race because we are not represented. That's why it becomes
and
about
like
race.
There's been so many POC queens who go on the show and are so amazing, and they get overlooked. They don't get the same treatment that other queens do, who just because they're white and skinny, they're like, "Oh my God, you look amazing! Like, great, you're passing, like whatever." Um, and I hate that because again, it just kind of reflects like our real life scenarios of what we've experienced growing up and what we experience on a daily basis at our jobs and all that stuff. Ugh, yeah,
Yeah.
sorry, it was just
And I think
frustration.
it's this. Yeah, no. I mean, it's disappointing that Roxy is getting the hate that she is about having these like saying the comments because they're like, oh, Roxy is saying that
No,
Angeria should never won or like Anya should never won, but that's not what she's saying. She's saying like, listen, it's an opportunity for production, not the queens, because the queens have no control over this, but there is an opportunity for production to understand that there is a need for a Latina to
mhm,
win Drag Race. Just like there's a need for a big girl to win because we have not had a big winner. And the fact that Ginger would have been our big girl winner and she lost weight tells a
mhm,
different narrative, not for Ginger, because I love that Ginger did the weight loss for her. But the way it made it seem on Drag Race with her and Mistress and even Deja a little bit, because we talked about it, was you had to shrink yourself in order for you to be successful. And that is also a problem because people are going to look at this and say, I'm big, so therefore
yeah.
I'm not going to win.
Yeah, I hate that the first time we get a big girl winner was after weight loss, which again is, like you said, is great for her, and I love that for her, and I love that that's her journey. But in terms of what it kind of tells the viewers, it's like you have to lose weight to win or to be successful, and I hate that
Correct.
because
Correct.
that's not the case.
Correct. Yep, it is not at all. Listen, in a room full of skinny bitches, be big. I keep saying it over and over, and that's gonna be a hill that I stand on top of. Right? Be exceptional, be you. You are good
Hmm.
enough for yourself. And I just think that there is a missed opportunity. Same thing with Asian queens, right? There is an opportunity for Asian queens to win Drag Race as well. It was how long? We had Raja and then we had
13
Nymphia
seasons.
win.
13.
How long of us like that's crazy to me to like to think that it took that
That means we'll
long.
get a Latina winner in 2 years. Yeah.
Correct, right? But again, Nymphia had to
Yeah.
be exceptional. And the fact that Nymphia felt like she needed to shrink herself in the season, she got an edit like, oh, I don't know how to sew, or I'm not good at performances, or I don't know how to do this. And then out of nowhere, she just blows everybody out of the water, like on the final lip sync. But we knew that she was talented throughout the season, yet they downplayed her
Hmm.
abilities until the end to justify her win. And that's
Yeah,
also a
definitely.
problem.
Because she shouldn't have to, she should have just been able to shine all the way through unapologetically and be like, bitch, this is why I deserve it because I'm the best.
Right. Then we saw what Saphira had to do. Saphira had to tell everybody, bitch, I
Hmm.
am the best. So it doesn't make a difference what you think. I am the best. I don't give a damn. Anya had to be boisterous and in your face and say, like, I'm on your nerve. Like, it is what it is. But the fact that we have to do that, right? Bob winning, Bob was like, I'm
Hmm.
going to win this season. So, like, it is what it is. But we have to put ourselves this way. Bianca bulldozing everyone, right? And she just got knocked off the top 10 best, like, all time drag
Hmm.
race, like, track records because Bosco entered, Ginger entered it, and then Georges because of the last season. But Bianca just now got knocked out of the top 10. And how long was
Bianca
Bianca in the top
was,
10 of the overall best?
for so
Like,
long, Bianca's track record was the goal. Like, that's what Queens wanted to achieve.
again, hello, right? Again, you have to be exceptional, yet the counterpart. No shade to Trixie Mattel because I think Trixie Mattel is an amazing drag queen. She wasn't great on Drag Race, but she could have been bad on Drag Race to get the popularity that
Hmm.
she has now. And
Yeah.
there's a difference. And so like for her to be one of the most followed drag queens in the whole entire world who've been on Drag Race with the exception of RuPaul because RuPaul is RuPaul. But like again, right? RuPaul has to be exceptional. It's sad that we have to have the conversation. It's like annoying that we have to have the conversation. We shouldn't have to have this conversation, but it's a narrative that all the queens of color they always talk about. So therefore there
Yeah.
is a problem. And we had an opportunity to correct it this season and we didn't. Again, it does not invalidate Ginger winning the season, but there was an opportunity for production to
Yeah.
make things right.
I agree.
Speaking of production making things right. Nigeria, who was probably the least problematic winner that we have had for Drag Race. One of the nicest queens ever, right? She has something to say. So apparently on this last episode of the Pit Stop, Monet Exchange and Alyssa Edwards, obviously they recapped the whole entire like finale episode. Alyssa was very like on point with her critiques. So shout out to Alyssa Edwards because she fully meant what she was saying. It was great. But they failed to mention Angeria coming back. And mind you, it was off-putting to everyone because this is the first time that a recap finale episode, they forget to talk about the step down. So I look at it like, why didn't they talk about Angeria? A part of me, if I want to play devil's advocate, could say, well, they were short for time and needed to condense everything. But another part of me was like, it was intentional.
Yeah, and I mean, I just feel like if you're short for time, I don't think that's one of the things you cut, like the winner, like the step down. Like, no, do I have an inclination as to why I did it? Not really. But I don't think it was fair to Angeria for them to do that to her.
Same. I'm like, and
Yeah,
especially Angeria. Angeria is the least problematic
yeah.
queen that we have
Like she's
as
just
far as a winner.
about the vibes and being happy and just spreading positivity. Like you cannot hate Angeria. So if there's somebody who didn't deserve that, it's
Yeah. So again, I think production needed to do better, right? This season as a whole, great for originality, right? Gets an A+ for being original, being a fresh perspective on All Stars. Love the brackets. We got to see queens not feel like they needed to prove themselves like too much, but also gave them the freedom to be who they were. Love that. And then my only critique of this season was that it felt really rushed, like the
yeah.
semifinals and the
At the
finals
end,
was
yeah, either
rushed.
I think they need to extend the next iteration of this by like maybe two, four more episodes, or they need to have less queens get through to the semifinals so that it feels more like an actual semifinal. Maybe we end up only with the top four rather than the top eight.
Correct. I agree. So that's drama on like a larger scale, right? That all of like,
So there's something
go
that
ahead.
I know we didn't mention that we were going to speak about, but based on what we were speaking about, I think it is important to mention. So recently, Xunami Muse decided to take a very big step, something that's literally life changing, and move back to Panama. And you know, the reason she said she did it was because of what's going on in this country right now, honestly. And I think that's something that really needs to be spoken about. I think it's unfair for her that she felt like she needed to leave the country in order to feel safe and in order to be able to like travel the world the way she deserves to. As a DACA recipient myself, I cannot leave this country. If I leave this country, I can only leave it to Mexico. And I need to have the government's permission to be like, yes, you're allowed to go. You need to be back by this date, or you will not be allowed re-entry. And even then, it's not guaranteed that they'll be like, yes, come back in. They can deny you once you're at the airport and they'll be like, no, go back. So we don't get to see the world like everyone else does. Like, and you know, Lunami does not get to tour the world because of her immigration status, like her fellow sisters did. Like, she did not get to go to the UK and Canada and all these other places because she wouldn't be able to come back into the US, into her home. So the best movement for her was
Yeah.
to leave the country, to go to a country where she could leave and go back, leave and come back freely, which is crazy. But you know what really upset me was the comments that I saw when she revealed it, and people being like, if you weren't successful in the US, just say that. That's not what it was. I think people are very quick to judge harshly without really knowing the full extent of what's going on. And I know that decision was very difficult for her because even now, for me, like it's a decision I've thought about. So I'm like, should I just leave myself before things get too bad, which is crazy. It's literally crazy to think like that. Like, oh, should I leave the home that I've known for the past 27 years, 28 years, just because I don't feel safe? That is insane. And I don't think people really understand how difficult that decision was or must have been for her.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, no, I mean, again, I think that's great that you brought that up. I think that is a conversation that needs to be had, right? The fact that Tsunami felt that she needed to self deport back to Panama because of what's happening in this current administration. It's baffling to me. It's disappointing. It angers me. Obviously, I'm a little biased because I'm half Panamanian, so shout out to my Panamanians out there. Like, hello, yes. So on that part, like that's the bright side. Like, oh, she's going back to our people. Yes, right. But yes, the comments were disgusting. But I think in this administration, the current climate, Trump and his minions have emboldened millions of people to be outwardly racist without regard of people's feelings or just remorse or even accountability. It has been okay to say, well, the bad guy is the immigrant, right? Let us play on the fact of fear of white people being the minority because the climate has changed where they're not in power anymore. And so, because of that, white people had to reckon with themselves and say, one or two things need to happen. We either need to embrace the change and realize that, okay, it's time for us to step aside and embrace this, or they need to do everything in their power to keep
Hmm.
their power. They chose
Hmm.
the latter. And so by choosing the latter, they have made people of color, immigrants, women, the boogeyman. And so it's unfortunate, right, that when Xunami was on season 16, we loved her. She won Miss Congeniality. We love it. The white gays are like, oh my God, yes. And now all of a sudden, she's telling you something personal about herself and you told her, well, if you couldn't make it here, you need to go back. So what changed? Oh, because she's doing this for herself, there's an issue. But she's no longer doing this for you, so you don't need her no more. So now she becomes an immigrant. When you needed her, she became one of your favorite drag
Hmm.
queens. But now you don't need her, so now she just can go back to the country that she came from. We don't want you
Yeah.
here. And I think that to me is the problem because I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it on Twitter. I'm seeing it on Instagram. The fact that these racist, xenophobic, homophobic, transphobic people are just coming out left and right. We have ICE going into neighborhoods of color to get criminals,
Hmm.
right? But not going into the white immigrant parts of the city because they have criminals too, right? But no, you want to target the criminals of color, quote unquote, that you say, but get but that's what we live in, right? And I just think that's it's unfortunate. We're going to miss Xunami. At the end of the day, she chose herself over anything else, and I have to
Hmm.
give her credit for that piece because I'm sure that was such a
Yeah.
difficult like position to be in. It's unfortunate that we are a land that is built from immigrants. Right? This was stolen land. And the fact that we cannot make it easy for people to live here successfully and be their true selves is a
Yeah, it's a huge
problem.
problem. And we need change like real fast. Do I think that's
Yeah,
necessarily going to happen? Honestly, not really. At least not currently. I know we're currently seeing with Mamdani, kind of the support that he's getting and it's giving people hope. But realistically, throughout the whole country, do I think a big change is coming? Honestly, no. Which sucks, which is very disappointed.
correct. Yep. Well, speaking of New York City, because you said
It's
Mamdani,
Mamdani
and
and
we're going to talk about
empty.
him in a second.
Sorry.
Yes,
I every time I hear Mamdani,
we're going to talk about,
I think of that
yes,
remix that somebody did. I forgot who did it, of him saying it's Mamdani and spelling his name to that Gwen Stefani
yes.
song. Y'all need to go listen to it because it's amazing. Anyway, sorry, I digress. Continue.
It is. But speaking of him, no, he's from New York City. So I want to talk a little bit about some New York City drama. So obviously on episode 1 of Hot Takes and Headlines, we talked about the Anita Bump scam between obviously Blossom and Sage, right? I had Blossom on to talk about her experience. Be sure to stay after this because I'm going to put Blossom's episode right after this episode. Now, there is some backlash of Blossomers receiving because some people think that her and Sage got Anita banned from the competitions. So that's on one hand, but at the end of the day, she's not in control of the competitions. She's a contestant herself. On the other side, we have people who are saying Anita needs to stop playing victim. If she wasn't doing this, then she needs to come out, own the truth, and say, listen, I need to clear my name. I need to help you or I want to help you as much as possible. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z.
Mhm. Yeah, because I mean, to me,
But right
yeah,
now,
it really
she's
does
not.
give like, at least what I keep seeing from her is, well, people are judging me based on things I've done in the past, which who knows? They might be. They might be. We don't know the full extent of what happened exactly. But then I feel like her energy should be focused on rather than playing the victim, like you said, being like, hey, it wasn't me. This is the proof that I have, or whatever. I don't know, perhaps let me help you find out who actually did it. I don't know. Let me help you. I don't know. But her being like, "Oh no, people are judging me because of what I've done," it just doesn't do anything for her in terms of proving her innocence.
It does not. Also, I think it just feeds into to this is
Yeah.
more drama because your name is the most you have. Like that's the most currency you have. If people trust you, especially in New York City nightlife. Listen, this is a small community, okay? New York City is huge, but the drag scene
Yep.
is small as hell. Everybody
Yep.
knows
And
everybody.
I mean, we've heard that time and time again from, people we've met and interacted with on our nights out. Like, girl, you gotta be nice or you gotta be yourself because, be careful with what you do because people will find out real quick. The things you do that people dislike will spread faster than the things they like about you.
Absolutely, 100%. Now, speaking of things people dislike about you, that's where Zoran comes in. Because the Democratic establishment hates that Zoran is so popular with the
Hmm.
young votes. They don't understand why his social media campaign is top notch. Zoran said, it's time for me to sit down. And he said, you know what? I need to tell you guys. I know you guys have been saying that I need to go back to Uganda. And guess what? I am. I am going back home, but I'll be back to New York City soon. So let me just give you some headlines. And he listed out the headlines like so good. Like they were amazing headlines. I was
Yeah.
like, you ate that.
Yeah.
Zoran ate that. That was everything.
Yeah,
He
fully.
ate
And I
that.
love that. When I saw that, I was like gagging. I was like, okay, Zoran. But there was also another video he posted recently about some critiques about him saying the word ultimately, which I thought was really funny. Because he
You
edited
saw
it
that
in
too?
all the
Yeah.
times he said ultimately during his campaign, and I thought that was just so funny. It was very, I don't want to say shady, it was very sassy, which I loved.
He was like, and I almost did it on
Mhm.
this past interview, and I caught myself. But I also think that his social media campaign, whoever is running his socials,
Oh,
they
funny.
need a raise. That is second to none. Probably one of the best. Like they're getting it from branding, from fonts to colors to just overall the messaging is just
And
amazing. So
whoever is
keep it
running
up.
it,
And it's also making the
I was gonna say, sorry,
other.
whoever's running it also needs to put that at like the top of the resume because there will absolutely be a job for them for like the next
Oh
20
yeah,
years. Anyway,
fully, yes. But it's also pissing
I love
off
that.
Andrew Cuomo and it's pissing off Eric
Oh,
Adams. And it's pissing off Cuomo so much that Cuomo said, if Zoran wins, I'm leaving New
I
York
like he lives
City.
there anyway.
Sis said that as if that was going to change our opinion of
Yeah,
Cuomo.
no, literally that would make me want to vote for Zorn even more. Oh, we don't get to have a predator in the city anymore. One less predator in the city? Absolutely, I'm voting for this guy. What? You gave us an incentive to vote for Zoran?
Like, now I think my problem with the Democrats is that we have people like Hakeem Jeffries, who is the House Minority Leader, who has yet to come out and endorse Zoran, who is the Democratic primary winner. I think it's a missed opportunity for Hakeem Jeffries to keep making excuses to not do an endorsement, especially of his ranking. Because you are scared that you're going to lose something. Do you understand the amount of support you would get if you come out and say, yes, I think Zoran is the best candidate? Do you understand that that will secure you to win? But it is so annoying to me that the Democratic establishment is looking at it like the opposite. The new platform to win in politics currently, right now, from a Democrat is democratic socialism. I'm sorry, but if you are not on that platform of free healthcare, if you are not on the platform of freezing the rent, affordability, making groceries more cheaper, if you are not making sure that people have a livable wage in this country as a Democrat, you are not going to win. And that is it. Because the voting bloc is Gen Z and
Mhm.
millennials. And that is the struggle the majority of us are facing. So if you are not talking about Palestine has a right to exist, Israel is doing genocide, that is a
Mhm.
problem. That's the
Yeah.
platform. I'm sorry. It happened in Minnesota. They literally gave the endorsement to someone else who was running on a Democratic Socialist platform than the incumbent Democratic mayor. Like, that should tell you that democratic socialism, as much as that word socialism is scary to the democratic establishment at whole, that is a platform. It is not easy to live in big cities like New
Mm-mm.
York anymore. It is not. It is not affordable. You need to make these cities affordable. You need to say that Israel is committing genocide. It is ethnic cleansing. I don't understand why that is so hard to come out and say. That is a
Mhm.
problem. But you are fearful of Israel when Israel has been existing. Israel exists
Mhm.
already.
Yeah, that.
It could be thousands, thousands,
I was
hundreds,
never good
whatever,
at
but you get
history
my
though.
point.
Even though I went to a history school,
I can't do
I
math. Yeah, part. But you get my
that
point.
I forgot what I was gonna say. I something about history, and I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's the platform.
Yeah, and here's the
Yeah.
thing. I
The
don't.
history of it
I
is
what?
that
Sorry.
Gaza has been
Yeah,
oppressed.
sorry. What I was gonna add into what you were saying was the establishment fears democratic socialism, but it's not even that far left. I feel like it's not even true socialism. Like they are asking for the bare minimum to help people live their daily lives. Why is that such a bad thing? They're not saying kill the rich, take all their money and redistribute it. No, they're just saying let's lower the gap. Let's close the gap a little bit, sure that everyone is able to live their lives comfortably at the bare minimum. At the bare minimum. They don't want everybody to be a millionaire. No, it's just like let's make lives a little easier for our citizens. That's it. Why is that such a bad thing? I don't get it.
It's not, but it's scary to give people access. When you give people access, the people who have access, who only want to keep it for themselves, fear that you are going to take over. It is their insecurities that get projected on everyone else. Therefore, the handful of people who have money, who are billionaires in the top 1%, would rather keep sexual predators
Look,
in power, which then in turns keeps them in power and keeps
mhm.
everyone else down.
That's it. That's
Because what is so scary about giving someone free healthcare? God forbid you have diabetes like I got diabetes. Oh my God, the world is going to end.
it's just it's baffling. It's so baffling. You know what? I kind of hope the maggots find this video because I'm kind of in the mood to argue, or not even. I'm just kind of in the mood to like see their stupid comments and get the hate. I don't know.
I love the comments. I love the hate. Well, I talked about this on
Hmm.
obviously my first podcast that I had. So originally it was going to be titled Will on the Mic, right? I talked about communism versus socialism. I got 340
Hmm.
views in 6 hours. And I got 383 comments on that video. Lit, yes. And it was some wild stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a lot of those comments on this so you can actually see all of the hate. Now I'm rechanging and I'm restructuring that podcast, so it's no longer gonna be called Will on the Mic. It's actually called We Got Time Today because baby, I got time today.
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna be talking about all that because I got time. This is stuff that we need to keep
Hmm.
talking about. It is unfortunate that this is happening to us, but guess what? We are here. We're queer. We're not going anywhere. Obviously the theme of this whole entire episode, yeah, it was drama, but for some reason all the drama last week had to do with race, which is crazy. Who would have thought?
It's given race.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought, right? Racism. Who would have thought that yes, the color of your skin will cause so much controversy, but apparently it does. Well, friends, if you liked hot takes and headlines, make sure you leave us a comment in the comment section. You like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a single episode of No Ma'am. And until next time. Hey friends, your favorite besties, or should I say bestie, is back for another episode of No Ma'am. I'm joined by a special person in New York City, but we'll get to that introduction in a second. But before we get to this, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a single episode of No Ma'am. Now, to my special guest, I am joined by the awesome, the incredible Blossom Dior. Welcome to No Ma'am, Blossom.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me on the No Man podcast. I've been such a fan for such a long time. I was waiting for that phone call, Diva.
Of course, we had to. Now, obviously, we're going to have you on for another episode, but this one is pretty much episode 2 of Hot Takes and Headlines. There's been some chatter that you've been a part of. Obviously, there's some other queens that's a part of the chatter too. But during the airwaves in New York City nightlife, this is what's happening. So, Joanne and I talked about this on a previous episode, Hot Takes and Headlines, episode 1. There's a lot of scandals that's happening with, let's just say, one of the aliases that is of Anita Bump. And so there was, there's a lot of people, they have their opinions, a lot of people have their stories. And so we just wanted you to pretty much own your own narrative of what happened to you, anything that you would like to share. Obviously, I know this may still be a touchy subject. It's all good. You don't have to go into so much detail, but only go into what you feel comfortable, why it happened, why you think it happened, and then we'll go from there.
So I'm not exactly sure as to why it necessarily happened, but what happened was, so me and another competitor, a dear friend of mine, their name is Sage, we got a DM on the night that we were doing a competition in New York City called Polish the Queen. So we're, getting ready. We were on FaceTime getting ready together. I was with another competitor at their apartment, and we get a DM from it was a little sketchy, like a suspicious account. But when they put us in a group chat and gave out the details felt very formatted. The person just clearly knew how to speak. But it pretty much was saying that, if for a last minute gig, could we come out to Harlem and do a little corporate gig because they just finished a party and they wanted 2 drag queens very last minute because they both pulled out the ones that they had. And we were like, I mean, I've already done polish before. I have won that competition before. I don't mind giving it to the girls. I'm okay with hanging up the heels. Y'all compete. I will go ahead and go take that money. So we did say yes. And we were like, listen, we said it to each other too, like when we were on the way, we were like, if this is a scam, at least we have each other and we'll just Uber back together. Because we foresaw just in case. Sure enough, we get to the venue and the venue was closed. We were waiting outside for about 45 minutes and we get blocked. Now, while getting blocked by that account, people don't realize, like, when you block somebody, you block them from all accounts that you created. And at the same exact time as we look, like, I'm literally calling the Uber, ordering the Uber to Polish. We go in the Polish the Queen group chat, and they make a group chat each week with all the contestants to lay out the rules. One person's name just happens to also disappear coincidentally.
Okay.
That was crazy. Me and Sage look at each other, goop, gabbed, and gulped. And we was like, that's weird. We screenshot it. We go to Polish. We run in. They have one person left. And thankfully, we couldn't compete because we missed our slots. But they did let us do the performance at the end because we were late because of the circumstance. And little Miss Thing walks up to me and Sage and goes, so how was the gig? Which also just, again, the layers of it. At that point, me and Sage full-blown thought that, did this bitch just set us up? Like, I very much gave, this is a setup. Something doesn't add up. And if you didn't do it, you know something. Something's not going on. It's not clicking. So Sage made a post online about it. And boom, we go viral. Everyone and their mama sees it. Everyone in the venue knows about it. We're getting DMs. We're getting texts. And then we find out, once we said who we thought it was, that this person has a history of getting the girls, taking the money, and I get it. Like, a hustle is a thing. I know I need it. Like, some girls really will be down bad and need to do something for that change to live. But I don't know, especially brown on brown violence. We already getting so much hate from the world, especially as a drag community, let alone POC. It was just so disheartening to hear that there were so many other things that were going on. Like, at that point, when I found out, I don't necessarily care about the fake booking. I was safe. I made it home safe. I still got to perform, and I'm back again this week. It was more so this person, outside of if they did or didn't do that to me or Sage, Anita does have a history of, kind of being a criminal. And that is something that, like, if she's changed, if she reformed, that's great. That's amazing for her. It was an overwhelming amount of responses from a bunch of people in different scenes. Ten's Magazine, they had an event and they reached out to Sage, one of the people that works for Ten Magazine, said that she's not allowed there anymore because she scammed somebody of this. She posed as I think somebody said that she posed as a landlord before, scammed somebody out of $2,000. I saw that as well. And it was going on for a couple of years, which is why she wasn't welcome. She was banned for a little while. She's unbanned from the Kiki scene now, but she was banned for a while in the Kiki scene because she wasn't playing fair. And I feel like, especially in this field, I'm sorry, like, I do believe in second chances, but it doesn't mean, like, I'm gonna keep my eye on you. I gotta watch you. You are not to be trusted because, what is gonna stop me from thinking that you would do it again?
Right.
And I do feel bad for the girl because she has gotten a lot of hate and people removed her from bars. But I also did receive some backlash as well, as if I am the bar manager and or bar owner removing this girl from spaces. I never asked for any of that. I didn't say take her out of the spaces. I am glad that things came to light so people can be wary and just be cautious, because I want everyone to be safe. However, I didn't ban her. I didn't get rid of her. I don't make those decisions. I just twirl it away. That's
Right.
it. That's my
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, so I
And
mean, I think like one of my questions, or like one of the questions that I was thinking about when this whole situation came, because obviously we are in an era of cancel culture, right? Like people are getting canceled left, right, and center. Some of it is it's on purpose; they need it,
warranted.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
MAGAs, the people who vote for Republicans. Sometimes we gotta cut them off, right? That's warranted. But with this situation, right, you didn't actually come out and tell the bars to like cancel right this
No,
particular performer. So do you think that was a little excessive, right? Or do you think we should have given her like a second chance?
not even a second chance. I mean, I do feel like the banning just happened quickly. Everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Like I woke up the next day and Star Search made an announcement, and I was just like, whoa, this is happening. Like I didn't expect it to go that viral without a conversation first. And
Yeah.
I didn't really get to have a conversation with her properly before it got blown into proportion. And now it turned. Unfortunately, it turned into a bunch of he said, she said. But
Mhm.
the bar staffs and bar managers all throughout New York City, like they have their own kiki. They talk. The elders do speak with each other. Once they heard that, they already a couple of bars have said to them when they released their statements that they've already had notions and or doubts and or feelings about them from the past and chose to pay it, and this was the it.
Yeah.
So I just felt bad that it happened so fast, and
Yeah.
I will be honest, she really didn't get a chance to defend herself. Like I do
Right.
feel bad for the girl.
Yeah, yeah, and I wanted to say that because I think because I saw those too, right? I saw some of the hate saying, well, like you and Sage got her banned from these things, and you guys have a little bit of power because it happened to you, right? You can feel what you feel, but these are the bars, like they do whatever they want, and what
Mm-hmm.
what Joanne and I talked about in the episode is what if we can't protect our community, then who would? So on one hand, it's great, right, that the community came together, they rallied all the elders, right, Star Search, like all stars, everybody was like, listen. This person, this is unprofessional, right? Unsportsmanlike conduct. We can't have that. We love that. But on the other hand, it's like maybe we needed to give this person a chance to say, hey, own your narrative. And I think who said that? I think Robert, right? Robert Garcia got on there was like, listen, maybe she needs to start interviews and saying, hey, let's lean into the bad guy, maybe maybe to
Brandon,
lean into that. So
Brandon, it happens. It's a
right,
thing. But
right.
I do think that it just moved so fast. And I
Yeah,
do think, like, no one really got a chance. I didn't even get a chance to process. I personally was very overwhelmed in general. Like, when I thought that one day I'd wake up and be viral, this is not how I imagined waking up
yeah,
and being a talk of a town. It is very overwhelming. And I can only imagine how Sage or Anita or any of the other queens that are starting to get involved could possibly feel having
yeah.
your name thrown around and people are making countless opinions about us, because she has some supporters as well. Anita does, and my name is getting tossed around. People are thinking that me and Sage are to blame for her, like we're trying to set her up, and people are spinning that narrative. And then people are spinning the narrative that somebody set Anita up and it wasn't Anita, it was somebody else making Anita
Right.
look bad to get Anita out, and she has an arch nemesis. And I'm like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
god, what kind of Tubi movie am I in?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I love that, you need a spin, right? Somebody needs to always, like, if you are the villain, some people need to lean into that and they love it, like Mistress. Like we like that she does that. But other people are not,
Sometimes.
right? Right. Like, they throw the rock and hide behind the door. And so for this, that was like a really old school, like, thing of me. I'm literally just showing my age a few minutes ago.
It was cute
When I
though.
was
I did.
like,
I got
where
it.
I was like, you throw the rock and hide behind the door. But I think in this situation, because Anita has a history of doing this and multiple, like, performers are coming out after this situation saying, hey, this sounds really familiar. This has happened to me. She's done this. Once you have a pattern, you have a history of this behavior, it's going to be really hard for people to, like the vast majority
See
of us, to
past that.
believe, right, to believe that you were set up. It's going to be like, are you saying this because you need someone to feel sorry for you, that you need to be the victim, right? You want to own that narrative? Or are you saying this because you was actually set up?
I really do feel for her a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit. But yeah, I don't think that people are grasping how serious this can affect somebody either. Because I'm sure, like, I know, like, my mental health wasn't the best when it first started. I was very overwhelmed in every space I walked in. And every bar, like, with or without our presence, was talking about it. Twitter
Yeah.
is going crazy about it. It's
Yeah.
very, very, very
It is. So now,
It's hard to digest.
do you feel like you was targeted, right? Do you feel like you like was so much of a competition to her in the competition that she needed to get you out?
Her specifically, no, because she has beaten me in competitions and I've beaten her. She's
Hmm.
never beaten me at Balcon. I've beaten her at Balcon Open Call before, but I have never won Drag Wars. She's won Drag Wars, I think, twice. She got into All Stars. I've never been inducted. The girl's a good performer. She is
Hmm.
sickening and she is talented, for sure. She's an amazing dancer. Don't think that it was a competitive thing. I mean, sometimes I do feel like sometimes in the heat of the moment, people can just want to, whatever could get me a one up on somebody. That is a thing.
Yeah.
Like if I know a certain detail and if I choose not to tell you that we changed the color scheme, like, you know, one of those, like, oh,
Hmm.
I forgot. Like that's something different.
Yeah.
But in this situation specifically, like I said, me and Sage were sent to Harlem in full drag. And it's dangerous. We were on the
Hmm.
corner of 145th outside of the SmackDown Center, and that was like danger. That's dangerous. And if God, like, thank God nothing happened. But if something could have happened, then it could have been much worse.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do you want to see come from this situation? You know, like sometimes we there may be a resolution, you know, you never know. So
I'm speaking to the new girls. Girls, get it together. Brick, terror, no luscious. Get it together. We
yeah.
need to stand together, especially if you're pigmented. I'm sorry. Like, the world is already against drag. The world is against POC people. We are that together. Double homicide. I
Hmm.
need us to stand strong. Stand
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And I need us to not stop with the caddies. Stop the caddies. Stop that. It is never that serious. Everybody want to read. Everybody want Kiki. If they're not your friend and they're not your sister, stop saying it. The girls are so quick to say friend. The girls are so quick to say sister. Just because we all wear wigs and do art that is the same art does not make us all sisters. We just have to respect each other. We don't gotta be
Hmm.
friends. We don't gotta work with each other all the time. But sometimes we might. Sometimes we'll have to compete against each other. Just respect me, respect my shit, and I'm gonna respect y'all shit. It's
Yeah.
really that simple. We just need to have a little bit more love and realize that it's fucking drag. It's really not that serious. It is fun. It is all fair and love sometimes, but it's not that serious to that point. A little $100 is not, a little 150 is not making or breaking somebody's character. Don't let go of your character for that little bit of pocket money. It's not easy, and it's not going to be easy. But people need to really focus on just being good people, minding your business. I'm sorry, I had to scream that one because, ooh, the amount of people, like I said, I mean, how the whole situation got spread. I mean, it was Sage's business to spread, so he did make the first initial post, and I reposted it. We didn't expect it to blow up, but
Yeah.
then the Twitter accounts, like there were Twitter accounts posting, and they didn't even know who we were. The
Hmm.
level of like wildfire. Oh my God, mind your business. If
Yeah.
you wasn't even there. You wasn't even there. You talking about something that you don't even know what you're talking about. You all in the Kool-Aid, don't even know the flavor.
Yeah.
You think
So
it's
now,
grape, it's cherry.
so
No.
so speaking of the viral moment, right? Because it is in everybody's mouth, and so that comes with a level of, you know, obviously there's going to be some hate because it's always going to be somebody on the opposition. You know, we all have ops. There's going to be people who are going to hate and say, "Oh, well, you know what? You're just hating on her." But there's also going to be a lot of love. Now, what I've seen is a lot of like support and solidarity for both you and Sage. So, like, how does that make you feel?
I love the love. It hasn't been all love. Some girls really are expressing their opinions. Like I saw on Twitter, it was like one girl I think I saw on Instagram Live. I saw the other day talking about it. Was like, "Girl, this sounds like natural selection. You did it to yourself." I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. God forbid a girl was eager to get booked.
Yeah.
Like
No, I mean, there
Jesus."
is going to be some people out there
But yeah, some
who
girls were saying that,
say
like,
like,
listen,
what
it
made you
happened to
think that
me,
was true?
and
Hmm.
I shouldn't have fell for some dumb stuff like that. Like,
Right.
it sounds like all fair and love of war, like, you fell for something. But I feel like it's not the fact that it was a scam, like, because no shade. Looking past it, she did kind of eat that. If she did, she did kind of, you want to get a bitch out of competition? You got two of them, and
Hmm.
two really good dancers out of
Yeah.
the competition. So it does eat. But it was about like it could have been really bad. We were standing in the ring, like that. Really, our safety could have been affected,
Yeah.
and that is the part that I think should have been like people aren't really paying attention to the fact that we stood outside in the middle of Harlem in full drag, wigs and makeup and all. But Sage had Timbs on and sweats with full drag from the waist up, and I'm
Yeah.
in a full beat and a skimpy little outfit like.
Yeah.
That really, if something would have happened, I think people then would have. I would hate for it. Always takes something to happen very seriously for people to grasp the seriousness of the situation. It's not about just the situation. About it could have been anybody, not just Anita. It could have been Sage and not Sage, or not me, anybody
Hmm.
else. But something really bad could have happened, and just because it didn't doesn't mean we shouldn't acknowledge that. Hey, that was too close for comfort. Two
Yeah.
POC brown people that are queer should not be in the middle of Harlem at 11 o'clock at night.
True. Yeah. No, absolutely. So does this make you, right, like I guess on a serious note, does this make you like distrust like some of these competitions, or are you still like this one situation is still is not going to be like, a bad apple. I'm still going to compete in these competitions.
I'm still going to compete in these competitions. I think it's not the competition's fault. The competition did
Hmm.
not set me up. And we can only do but so much when you got like looking after one queen or two. You have 13 or 14 queens sometimes in a competition. They cannot watch every single person with a magnifying glass. So I feel like blaming a bar, blaming a venue is not fair. Me moving forward would just be a little more mindful. Trust the DMs. Get on a FaceTime call when you want a booking, okay? Get on FaceTime. Ask for a little Zoom, a little pan around the venue. Check the sign.
Yeah.
Make sure it's open.
Hmm.
Make sure it's
Yeah.
open. But yeah, I think I just need to be a little more cautious or a little more wary. But I don't think it shouldn't deter me. It should just, I hope that other people, somebody had to make the mistake for people to learn. So if nobody ever made it yet, because I've never seen something like this in the year that I've been here
Hmm.
twirling. I hope that my mistake shows people be cautious, be wary, and be safe. Protect yourself and don't be alone. Thank God me and Sage weren't alone. We had each other because it could have
Yeah.
been way worse. And then we got an Uber and left right away. That could have been a whole different story. I hope this situation just shows people just be a little more cautious around your surroundings, what you're
Hmm.
accepting, what you're signing up for, and where you're going.
Yep. All right. Well, Blossom, thank you for coming. Obviously, I wanted to get you on the episode to really talk about it, for you to own your narrative. Obviously, we know that the whole entire New York City nightlife is talking about it. Everyone has opinions, but opinions are like assholes, right? We all have one. So sometimes you need to get it from the horse's mouth. And so I wanted you to come on to really just own it so that you can tell the people what really happened, right? So, and then they obviously know how you feel, how you don't feel. Again, I appreciate it. Obviously, Giovanni and I are going to have you back for an actual episode. So, like, you're always welcome. And no, ma'am, like, we know how much you support us. We support you. We love that. And friends, that was it. You heard it from Blossom. So now, Blossom, where can the people find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Blossom, like the Powerpuff Girl, XNYC. That's BLOSSOM XNYC.
All right. And you're on Twitter? So where can they find you on Twitter?
I believe it is also Blossom XNYC.
All right. So,
Just
and
type in Blossom or Anita Bump in the search engine and you'll
and you'll
find
see.
it. You'll find it.
Literally, yes, that's how easy it is. And also, so you're competing today in Polish the Queen,
I
right? So are
will
you
do that
excited?
tonight. It is the Legend Edition, Gaga and Beyonce. So everyone has to bring a Gaga and or Beyonce number along with the 2 lip sync smackdown. And it's going to be a real kooky time.
Love that. All right. Well, you heard it here. So, friends, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Right. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a single episode of No Ma'am. And as always, this has been No Ma'am, where real talk meets legendary energy. Until next time. Bye.